Everywhere you look, the world tells you that being single means being incomplete. Friends ask when you'll settle down. Society assumes you're missing something, and loneliness whispers that you're falling behind. But what if the Stoics saw singlehood not as weakness, but as strength? For them, solitude was freedom, the training ground for mastery of the self. And in that space, you can become stronger than ever. Have you ever felt judged or pressured just because you're single? You're not alone. Drop a comment below and tell me where you're watching from, because I'd love to connect with you personally. And while you're here, don't forget to like this video, subscribe, and hit the bell. Think of it as your small vow to build inner strength through Stoic wisdom. Loneliness is a fear almost everyone carries. But to the Stoics, solitude was not a curse, it was a gift. Marcus Aurelius, Seneca, and Epictetus all agreed that true freedom begins when you rely on yourself, not on others. So let's uncover 7 Stoic lessons that explain why being single can make you stronger. Lesson number 1. Freedom from dependency. One of the core teachings of Stoicism is self-sufficiency. The Stoics believed that the more you depend on external things, whether it's money, status, or even other people, the more fragile your happiness becomes. When you rely on others to define your worth, you hand over control of your peace. This is why being single can be one of the greatest freedoms. Instead of depending on someone else for validation, you learn to build stability from within. Marcus Aurelius wrote his meditations not as a performance for the world, but as a private guide to strengthen his own soul. He understood that real power comes when you stand on your own foundation. Think about how relationships often form in today's world. Many aren't built on genuine virtue, but on fear of loneliness, social pressure, or the need for approval. That kind of dependency creates weakness. It traps you in the opinions and emotions of others. But when you embrace singlehood, you break free from that dependency. You're no longer controlled by the fear of being alone. Instead, you gain the freedom to discover who you are, what you value, and where you're headed. Freedom doesn't mean isolation. It means you choose to share your life from strength, not desperation. And that strength begins by learning to stand firmly on your own. Lesson number 2. Mastering your mind first. Epictetus said, "No man is free who is not master of himself." This simple truth is at the heart of Stoic philosophy. Before you can lead others, before you can love deeply, you must first govern your own mind. Being single gives you the rare opportunity to do exactly that. When you're not consumed with the constant demands of a relationship, you have space to face yourself, to sit with your own thoughts, to notice your habits, your fears, your patterns. For many, silence is uncomfortable, but to the Stoics, silence was sacred. It was where strength was forged. When you avoid this inner work, you risk carrying unresolved chaos into every relationship. But when you master your mind first, you bring clarity, stability, and wisdom wherever you go. In the modern world, people often fill the silence with endless scrolling, texting, and distractions. But singlehood allows you to step away from that noise. You can use the time to build discipline, whether through meditation, journaling, or deliberate challenges that train your willpower. Marcus Aurelius reminded himself daily that the mind is the only true kingdom you rule. Partners may come and go, circumstances may shift, but your thoughts and choices belong only to you. So instead of asking, "When will someone complete me?" ask, "How can I master myself first?" Because when you do, you carry a strength that no loneliness can shake. Lesson number 3. Time is your most precious resource. Seneca, one of the great Stoic thinkers, wrote an essay called On the Shortness of Life. In it, he warned that most people don't truly live, they just exist, wasting their most precious resource, time. And nothing steals time faster than chasing validation or staying in relationships that drain your energy. This is why singlehood, when embraced intentionally, becomes such a gift. It gives you ownership of your hours. Instead of pouring endless time into drama, constant texting or seeking reassurance. You're free to invest those hours into what matters: your goals, your growth, your craft, your health. Seneca wrote, "It is not that we have a short time to live, but that we waste much of it. When you're single, you have the chance to live by that wisdom. You don't waste time waiting for someone else's approval to start your life. You can wake up early, set routines, and focus on what makes you stronger. Think of it this way: your time is like gold. Every minute you spend is gone forever. Being single helps you protect that gold. It forces you to ask, is this worthy of my time? When you treat your hours as sacred, you build a life that reflects your values. You learn that time isn't something to kill, it's something to invest. And the Stoics remind us there's no better investment than mastering yourself." Lesson number 4. Solitude builds strength. To many, being alone feels like weakness. But to the Stoics, solitude was a source of strength. Marcus Aurelius, despite being emperor, wrote in solitude. Epictetus, born a slave, found his freedom in solitude of the mind. Seneca often retreated into silence to sharpen his thoughts. This is the 4th Stoic lesson. Solitude is not emptiness, it's power. When you're single, solitude isn't optional. But instead of resisting it, you can embrace it as training. Alone time forces you to face yourself honestly. It strips away distractions and reveals who you really are. And that's exactly where growth begins. Most people fear solitude because it exposes their inner noise. But the Stoics welcomed that noise. It was the signal of what needed attention. Through reflection, journaling, or meditation, they turned solitude into strength. In our modern world, it's easy to numb silence with constant entertainment. But when you allow yourself to sit in solitude, you discover resilience. You learn that you don't need anyone else to feel whole. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "Nowhere can man find a quieter or more untroubled retreat than in his own soul." That retreat is always available to you, especially in singlehood. Solitude is not punishment. It's the forge where self-mastery is created. When you learn to stand strong alone, you're unshakable when life tests you. Lesson number 5. Virtue over pleasure. The Stoics believed that the highest good was not pleasure, but virtue. Pleasure is fleeting: food, sex, praise, comfort. Virtue, on the other hand, lasts forever. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "If it is not right, do not do it. If it is not true, do not say it." This is the 5th Stoic lesson: choose virtue over pleasure. Many relationships today are built on nothing deeper than desire or convenience. People fear being alone, so they settle for temporary pleasure instead of building real strength. But when you are single, you have a chance to step away from that trap. You're free to focus on integrity, discipline, courage, and wisdom. Singlehood can feel like a void, but the Stoics would tell you, fill that space with virtue, not with distractions. Train your body, sharpen your mind, live with justice. Instead of chasing short-term comfort, commit to long-term growth. Pleasure fades quickly, but virtue builds a foundation that nothing can shake. When you live by virtue, you stop needing external approval. You carry dignity in every action, even when no one is watching. Being single allows you to see clearly, am I living for pleasure or am I living for character? The Stoic path reminds us, virtue is what makes us strong. Lesson number 6, love without attachment. The Stoics didn't reject love. Marcus Aurelius loved deeply. Seneca wrote beautifully about friendship. Epictetus spoke of kindness and humanity. But they warned against clinging, because attachment leads to suffering. This is the 6th Stoic lesson. Learn love without attachment. When you're single, you get to practice this. You learn that love is not about possession. It's not about needing someone to fill your emptiness. True love, in Stoic terms, is a choice born from strength, not desperation. The danger of attachment is that it makes you fragile. If your happiness depends entirely on someone else, you're at their mercy. But if your happiness is rooted in your own self-mastery, then love becomes an addition to life, not the foundation of it. Being single gives you space to understand this truth. It allows you to learn to love yourself, to respect your own company, to build your own life. Then if you choose to enter a relationship, you do it from wholeness, not from need. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "When you arise in the morning, think of what a precious privilege it is to be alive, to breathe, to think, to enjoy, to love." Notice that love, for Marcus, was part of life's gift, not life's purpose. Singlehood teaches you that love is best when it's free, not clinging. And that makes it stronger, not weaker. Lesson number 7. Memento mori, life is short. The final lesson is the most powerful. The Stoics often reflected on death, not to be morbid, but to live with urgency. Marcus Aurelius reminded himself, "You could leave life right now." Let that determine what you do and say and think. This is the 7th Stoic lesson, memento mori, remember death. Being single often makes people feel like they're waiting for the right partner, the right timing, the right life to begin. But memento mori destroys that illusion. It tells you life is already happening right now. Stop waiting for someone to complete it. When you remember that time is limited, you stop wasting it on self-pity or comparison. You stop asking, "When will I find someone?" and start asking, "What will I do with the time I already have?" Singlehood becomes not a pause, but a stage of power. It's the chance to live boldly on your own terms. Travel, create, grow, challenge yourself, contribute to the world. Don't wait for permission. Don't wait for a relationship to validate you. The Stoics teach us that death is not the enemy. Wasted life is. And the greatest waste is postponing your potential while you wait for someone else to join your journey. Memento mori reminds you, live now, love life now, act now. That's how you transform being single into strength. So here's the truth. Being single isn't a weakness. It's one of the greatest opportunities you'll ever have. While others may waste their energy chasing validation, you have the chance to master yourself. You have the chance to build strength, discipline, and freedom that no one can take away. Marcus Aurelius carried the weight of an empire, yet he found his strength in solitude. Seneca reminded us that life is short, and time is too precious to waste. Epictetus taught that freedom begins with mastering your own mind. All of them agreed. Self-reliance is the path to true power. When you embrace singlehood through Stoic wisdom, you stop waiting for someone to complete you. You realize you are already whole. And when you choose to share your life, you do it from strength, not from need. So don't fear being single. Use it, let it be your forge, your training ground, your freedom. Because the strongest version of you is not the one who is constantly seeking approval, but the one who is calm, focused, and unshakable, even in silence. If this video gave you strength, hit the like button, subscribe, and share it with someone who needs to hear this today. Comment below which Stoic lesson spoke to you most. I'd love to hear your thoughts. And remember this, you don't need anyone else to complete you. Control your mind, and you control your life.